It's your boy Crypto Millie back with another one. I missed a couple plays today, man. I went out there to try to get some more content, and then it seemed like the trenches was going crazy. So I've been doing a little bit of research, not specifically on TAO, but just a plethora of different things in the cryptocurrency. But in this video, I want to talk about TAO and my bullish thesis on TAO and how grabbing TAO under 200 bucks was a probably a beautiful, and I'm not going to say generational, but just a beautiful opportunity. Because to be fair, there's still a lot of uncertainty in the market. And in my opinion, I know a lot of people are bullish, but usually the market does the opposite. And hey, we could go lower. I think it's very important that we see how the market opens up on Monday instead of assuming, right, that we're just going to go up. Just like last week, we assumed it was all over. So let's talk about TAO. In the comments, let me know if you have been buying the TAO dip or any crypto dip, right? Do you have any extra money to buy the dip? I would love to know you guys' opinion. Now, the amazing thing about TAO, in my opinion, is the DTAO aspect of it, right? This is kind of like an AI hub, and I ran across a tweet that made a lot of sense here, right? Because I've been kind of like screaming at you guys for the last 2 months about these TAO subnets. And a lot of you watch my channels consistently, watch my videos consistently, or participate in the live streams, right? And you've seen these TAO subnets just go only up, right? I've made it clear that I hold stuff like Nova, Data Universe, and also Dojo, which it hasn't been doing as well as the other two in sports. Tensor, which I'm starting to go crazy as well. Actually, they generate a lot of revenue as well. Guys, I would recommend you to go out there and do your research, right? A lot of people were asking me about the FDVs and stuff like that. Go do your research on TAO because it gets a little deep. But once you actually take a deep dive into TAO, you'll have an understanding on why this community is beautiful, right? This is a community that's all about AI. So you know how Solana is kind of like everywhere with it. And this post actually puts it into perspective, right? So check this out, right? He says, after rotating out of ETH into TAO this week, I've been seriously considering going all in. But with the launch of the new incentive market detail, I'm really narrowing my exposure or simply diversifying within a single ecosystem. And that's how I've been telling you guys. A lot of people have been asking me like, Millie, you've been really bullish on TAO. You like becoming a TAO maxi as far as layer ones. And I specifically think it makes sense to invest personally, not financial advice, into a layer one that's built around the future, right? Which is artificial intelligence. Literally everything today is centered around AI. It's absolutely crazy. Look, if you go on Facebook right now, you got everybody making the action figures, right? And the thing about open AI, right, is that they use a lot of compute power, right? Well, TAO draws a lot of that compute power within the ecosystem, right? Similar to lending and borrowing out GPU power and incentivizing miners. So AI in crypto is still a niche, but it's rapidly shaping into a full-fledged sector, and BitTensor is at the forefront of both. Yes, it is complex, which I agree. Yes, it takes time to understand, but it isn't simpler to explore dozens of subnet narratives within one community instead of chasing fragmented hype across scattered projects. The more I search, the more I realize sometimes true diversification comes from going deeper. So instead of having this 50 portfolio that some of you guys have, why not focus on one ecosystem and the things within those ecosystem? And frankly, if you've been paying attention for the last 2 months, you could have got 6x's, 7x's, 10x's across the board just simply by buying TAO and staking your TAO into these subnets, because that's what you're doing. You're not like buying Sol and then you're buying a meme coin, right? You're buying TAO, and the only thing you're doing is staking your TAO into a subnet and watching these guys cook, right? And this is why they have way more longer holding time, right? Because it's not like a quick flip. It's like, okay, I'm staking my TAO into somebody that's building something for the future, right? And just do your research on subnet. I'm not going to pull up my subnets or anything like that. I want you guys to go out there and do the dirty work and start depending on YouTubers, right? I'm giving you the game, but you still got to go out there and cook your own recipe, right? And I've talked about the competition between TAO and OpenAI. So of course, TAO is now what's the price of TAO? When I made that spreadsheet right there, it's 252 now. I mean, I made this when TAO was $208 and shared it with you, right? I wanted to make it clear that despite recent fluctuations driven by macro factors, BitTensor continues to demonstrate fundamental strength through its pioneering decentralized AI infrastructure. With a circulating supply of 8.5 million out of 21 million in rapidly developing subnets, which they do have halving cycles just like Bitcoin. So now we're talking about a project that has similar tokenomics to Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's the next Bitcoin, I know, or whatever y'all call it, Casper. I'm not here to compete or compare TAO and Casper, right? I'm comparing the tokenomics, right? Because it's a scarcity token, which means that this thing, if it gets adopted, is going to fly to 4 or 5 digits or more, right? They also have subnets that's starting to get adopted, like Rayon Labs. You can see here from proof of the post that Rayon Labs, in the last 24 hours just picked up 15,000 users, right? Utilizing open source AI. So guys, I mean, you see this thing run into like 70 million. We talked about it when it was what, 9 million, 10 million, probably before that. And I told you guys, people are not going to start paying attention to TAO until they have $100 million runner. And what are you seeing here? Chutes is sitting here at a $66 million market cap. And what have you been seeing across crypto Twitter? Everybody starting to talk about TAO. So I don't want to, like, I'm not here to throw it in your face. You'll be able to like go through this. Look, guys, it's still not even 100 subnets. Look at all the tokens on virtuals. It's not going to take you that much research to go through 91 subnets and find you some things that you really like, right? It's not going to take you that long, chat. It's not. All you got to do is just go through these subnets. And to be fair, the ones in the top 10 are the ones that's really cooking. You might find like I like sports. So I like Sports Center, right? But, for now, it seems like the top 10 is the top 10, right? But again, you got to do your research. Now, this project also competes with OpenAI. It's up 300% since 2024. We've been talking about TAO since $45, right? This is the most important thing right here. Bit Tensor's P2P model scales dynamically as nodes join, reducing compute costs by 70 to 80% versus cloud providers. Subnet's architecture enables specialized AI tasks across distributed systems, rivaling OpenAI's monolithic approach. So they use way more compute power, guys, way more compute powers. TAO's tokenomic reward contributes for high performing models, creating a powerful flywheel effect that accelerates the development, which we're seeing. Unlike OpenAI's top down structure, BitTensor's open ecosystem fosters diverse experimentation, right? They got like now they got almost 90 something active subnets. 10,000 plus active developers in Q1, right? So the developers are coming over. It's also open source, while OpenAI has shifted for a for-profit model with restricted access. BitTensor's fully open source framework invites global participation without gatekeeping, creating vibrant ecosystem growth. Decentralization, right? What is crypto about? Freedom. This is AI sovereignty right here, right? So anybody can use the code to develop. Unlike Chat GPT, they keep everything in-house and within a few big companies, and they make all the money off AI, and the little guy makes absolutely nothing. This is why TAO is respected as a giga giant in the AI space. You literally don't even hear anything about Singularity, and I don't even know what they was thinking when they merged and did all that. But you don't even hear about that no more. You probably hear about Near Protocol before you hear about Singularity, which I was huge on Singularity maybe 2 years ago, and then that joint they just did a complete 180. Cost-effective AI. BitTensor's decentralized compute enables near zero marginal costs for users versus OpenAI's premium pricing. Querying BitTensor's models cost fractions of a cent compared to 10 to 100 per million tokens for GTP4o. Now, I know a lot of people don't know how to actually use these models like they use Chat GPT, which is okay, but you got to go, Rayon Labs is a great way to start because they have literally a platform that does everything that They do. They got like multiple subnets as well. So guys, you got to go out there and do your research. While OpenAI has shifted for-profit model with restricted access, Bit Tensor's fully okay, we already talked about that. Regulatory geopolitical edge. Bit Tensor's decentralized nature creates inherent resistance to censorship, sanctions, or shutdowns. Nodes operate globally, ensuring continuity, even if certain regions impose restrictions. This is huge. This is huge. Specialized AI outperformance. BitTensor subnet models allow hyper specialized AIs to thrive, achieving benchmarks, rivaling and exceeding OpenAI in tasks like code generation, 95% versus 90% accuracy. So you can even code better utilizing BitTensor. It's also community led. As the demand for ethical AI grows, BitTensor's decentralized governance ensures transparency versus OpenAI's opaque structure. 2024 bias mitigation proposal gained 85%, so very decentralized. With the market cap, it's around 2 point something billion now, so it did fall. Aligning incentives across participants networks effect create a moat that challenges open AI. Self-reinforcing token economics, and we do have some risk here. So it is important to note that we do have some risk, which is of course maturity. OpenAI's models are battle tested with BitTensor subnet varying quality. So that's huge, right? Quality over quantity. I think that's one thing that does stand out about TAO's ecosystem. They're not trying to like let people just launch tokens for $2. I think it's like 30 grand or something crazy to even have a subnet. So it's like, if you're going to put money into a subnet, you're going to really, really like, you're not playing around, right? It's not like $2 like Pump Fund. OpenAI capital's reserves dwarf BitTensor's community-driven funding, of course, right? We know that like they sitting on bags, but again, it's centralized, so they control everything. The centralized can be complex for non-technical users. This is probably the biggest thing right here, is the fact that no one knows how to use X. Be like smart. It's hard. I'm gonna say nobody, but retail, right? This is the problem. That they need to come up with a solution, right? They need their AI, their models, their LLMs, whatever that they got within this ecosystem to be more accessible to retail. So just like I can go to Google, I can go to Chat GPT, I can go to Grok, I can instantaneously use their platform and utilize their AI. It's a little bit different with BitTensor. You got to really go and find out, that the platform that, it is. So they need to fix that, right? Like we see from Solana, right? Solana, you pull up your wallet, bam, you in a casino. It's really very, very easy. So we really, really, really need to make this thing more retail friendly. And I told you guys, like, I'm gonna keep it all the way gip. I'm not gonna sit here and give you any type of moon boy thesis just to pump my bags. Like, I'm gonna give you the pros, the cons, the risk, and the factors, right? And of course, some people are gonna feel like they priced out, but guys, think about it, man. This thing is sitting at $200 and has the same tokenomics, similar. I'm not going to say exactly the same, but similar tokenomics and setup as Bitcoin. So we're talking about a token that can easily go $1,000 and higher. And if AI becomes a hit record and BitTensor becomes a platinum album, you know what I mean? Like, this thing is going to 5K, 6K. So, and maybe higher, right? So just keep that in mind. You got a few subnets on this joint that go to 200, 300 million and maybe 1 billion. You get a subnet. What happened with Solana when Solana started having those meme coins hit 1 billion? When Virtual started having those AI agents hit 100 million, 50 million, right? It helped the price appreciate. The one thing about the flywheel effect with TAO is even when the price is going down, the staking increases and the subnets continue to go up. So people don't depict the price of TAO with the subnets. It's like, okay, yeah, I can hold my subnets and my subnets might just continue to go up even when TAO's price is going down, right? Because you're actually just staking your TAO. So, I mean, to me, it makes sense. Again, we don't know what part of the cycle we're in, so we don't even know like where we're at. A lot of uncertainty, right? But again, this is this is where the money is really made, right? This is where the money is really made. The price decline of TAO was macro headwinds, right? Because we seen the staking go up, the staking supply go up, even though the price was going down. This temporary storm is affecting all high growth tech investments, not just TAO. As market conditions stabilize, fundamentals will take center stage. Now, this is what I was talking about. The dramatic increase in staking is reducing circulating supply significantly, making this scarce token. Long-term holders are betting on TAO's ecosystem potential, locking their tokens and reducing selling pressure. This conviction signal is particularly strong given the current macro environment. So the fact that people are still willing to buy TAO and stake it no matter the macro, because they know like, hey, I can buy TAO, stake it in the subnet. The subnets can still go up even if TAO's price is going down, which has been proven. Now, there's a lot that goes into like the let me get the emissions and stuff like that. When buying a subnet, you need to understand how the emissions work, right? And things of that sort. Usually the project that has the highest emissions, that's the one that's cooking the most, right? I think where's Choots is number one right here with a 18% emissions right now. So go do your research on how the emissions work. Like I said, I'm not gonna give y'all everything. You know, it does. There is a learning curve. I want to make it clear. There is a learning curve, right? But they are, like I said, Rayon has 3 subnets that's starting to get adopted. Several key subnets are driving innovation in the Bit Tensor ecosystem. First and foremost, subnet 64, which handles foundational low-level compute tasks forming the infrastructure backbone for decentralized AI agents. Remember when virtuals had like, I forgot the name of the token, but it was like the infrastructure play within virtuals, and that, it wasn't Convo, it was something else, but that joint boomed, right? And then we seen virtuals boom, right? The same thing is happening with subnet 64. Subnet 19 focuses on fast interference for text and image generation. So yeah, there we go. So subnet 19, if you looking for a chat GPT, there you go. And they're utilizing Llama 4 Maverick. So go do your research, find out how to use subnet 19 and stop using chat GPT. Stop paying when you can just use this for free. Dedicated to training optimized large language models, hosting projects like Gradient's a high performing auto LLM. That's subnet 56. And you know, you can see there's a lot of stuff going on here with Rayon Labs, which is the highlighted project, right? In my opinion, the highlight project of TAO, right? It's the one that has the #1 subnet, which is Shoots, but they also have 2 other subnets, right? So guys, go do your research on TAO, right? That's pretty much my bullish thesis. I wouldn't just hop into the top subnets without doing research. Now, to be fair, Choots can go higher, right? Choots and gradients, like all of the, what's it? Choots, gradients, and then 19 AI. These are the hitters under Rayon Labs. Go do your research on Rayon Labs. But you also got Bitcoin maxis starting to head over, like Fred Cougar. He has 151,000 followers. This guy is a Bitcoin maxi. He says AI is like the internet or Bitcoin. And he's also, if we just swing over to TAO stats, he also has a TAO subnet that he just launched. Give it some time. You don't want to buy them when they just launch, called Brain subnet 90 here, right? So it's not active yet, but it should be active soon. So just pay attention to that, right? It's one of the ones that I'm waiting to become active, and maybe I'll throw a couple dollars in here, right? But it's high risk, right? Because, you know, a lot of the TAO people really don't like the fact that he, you know, has a couple meme coins on Solana, like stupid coin and stuff like that. So guys, just let me know what y'all think about the TAO subnets. Taking a look at TAO from a TA perspective on the weekly, we do have this fair value gap here. So the FVG is staring right at us at about 286. If TAO can bust through the FVG and turn that into support and not resistance, now we're looking at the 618 and possibly these moving averages as well. But a lot has to happen. A lot has to happen, guys, because unfortunately, we do have macro wins. So I would definitely pay attention to that. Not going to print that weekly buy signal on my indicator until we get over these moving averages. So you can see when we're over the 21-day and the 50-day, we see nice moves from TAO. But right now, TAO is technically bearish, right? So you got a lot of time. And buying TAO at around 200 bucks is a fucking premium, man. Like when if you got it at like below 200 and you every time it wicked, you're winning, man. You're winning. Each TAO token that you buy under 200, you gotta look at it like each one of these tokens at some point going to be $1,000. Don't think that you priced out. And if you are interested, right? Not financial advice. Only if you are interested. I wouldn't wait till it gets 400. I would try to buy TAO as cheap as possible, just because it is a token that can price you out if you wait, right? Like Ethereum, like Bitcoin. So buying it right now under 200 bucks, it is what it is, right? It's kind of like buying quant under 100 bucks, right? But guys, let me know what y'all think. I don't want to make this video too long. Macro wins, right? But again, we may have some positive things happen in the market around the corner as far as the macro. We just got to keep our head up, and we'll just see. This is the weekend. Let's not get too excited about the weekend. Let's get into Monday, because weekends are low volume. A lot of like pumping and dumping from the market makers. It's literally not real. We'll see more on Monday. We'll see you on Monday. Hopefully y'all like the content. Appreciate that. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Let me know your opinion on TAO or what your favorite AI play is in the comments. I would love to know what you guys think about TAO and what AI cryptocurrencies you are buying. It helps me get a good feeling of what the sentiment is in crypto, and specifically around the narrative AI. It's your boy Crypto, really checking out with the late one. I'll see you in the morning.